Good evening, Mr. Chairman. We are ready to begin the meeting when you are. And, and if you wouldn't mind to turn your microphone on, sir.
With somebody's email list.
I think it's time to do a roll call. State your name and say why you're here.
My name is Shetal Foster, and I'm the Commissioner for the Cultural and Art Center.
Diana Smith, and I'm here to help Michael.
Francesca Connolly, and I'm here to support everybody at the table.
For our approval of the meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second the motion to approve the minutes.
Motion approved.
We just need to call for a vote now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the direction. I call for a vote. All in favor? Motion approved. And now it's time for unfinished business. Okay. I think it's time to discuss and approve the liquid sunshine sculpture for the city's permanent public art collection for installation at the presented location. That will be okay.
And then, Kim, whenever you're ready, if you don't mind to just turn your mic on at the podium. Thank you. You're welcome.
For some reason, I apologize, I'm not able to get this. I saved it. Can you bear with me one second? I can kind of start talking about it because I know a lot about it, so I can I don't know if I can double task here, but I will do my best. We met with Arts Alpharetta, and Nancy Murphy is here to represent them this evening. And we discussed, here we go. They looked at their accounts, what they have available, and from back at the on loan exhibit, Omnium Gatherum, I don't know if you remember that one, but that was that, you can step up, Nancy, if you want. Omnium Gatherum was in 2000, let's see, that was 2 years ago, probably 3 years?
18, 19.
18, okay. And they have some remaining funds because they budgeted so well. Some years, the outdoor loan will cost more than others. That particular year, the sculptures that were purchased were that were rented were either close by, easy to install, but for some reason, they had some lower cost, and they were good stewards with the money that was contracted. And so we have some funds. I'll let you tell the good news.
Yep.
You want to say?
Yep. Good evening. Thanks for letting me come up here to share this with you all. Arts Alpharetta currently has the funds to support the purchase of Liquid Sunshine. It's a great piece. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's the one that gets the most social media buzz. So we think it's a great investment. I'll turn it back to you.
So this means that the city will have there's not a budget impact for this. So what we're trying to decide tonight, we're requesting if we can add it to our permanent collection, and we want to get approval on the location. When we add things to the permanent collection, it doesn't have immediate budget impact right now, but it could in the future if it needs to be maintained or repainted. So that's why we're making that request.
Can you go back to the last slide for a second? The previous?
Yes.
What is that $90,000 budgeted?
Okay, let me see. What are you referencing?
On the background, it says something about the bi-yearly exhibit is budgeted $90,000 to cover curation.
That's the entire outdoor on loan project.
Okay.
We budget every year. We budget $45,000 for the project,
Okay.
and we only actually implement it every 2 years.
So per year, it's 45,000. Okay.
Correct.
So
Originally
90. Okay.
90,000.
And you will
Originally,
use that for this. You will use that for this sculpture.
no, I was just stating how much the
We have.
project.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
That we contract with Arts Alpharetta every 2 years, and we sign an agreement. We actually I'm kind of jumping ahead to my report,
Oh,
but we
sorry.
just got it kind of overlaps.
Okay.
It's good. We just got mayor and council to sign off on the new agreement that they'll be starting on the new outdoor loan project this summer. So every 2 years, we give Arts Alpharetta $90,000 to curate, implement, deinstall, and they handle the entire project.
Okay.
They locate artists. Did I leave out anything on that?
We pay for the installation, we set all that up. We try to minimize the impact on city staff and resources, as we've been given that job to do. So we're the hands and feet to get the work done. So we're happy to have that job. The purchase of Liquid Sunshine does not have any impact on the current project, which is called Medley. Those pieces will sort of start to disappear in June, and then we're getting ready to post a new call for another round of sculptures that'll be installed after the next fiscal year in July. But this particular piece happens to be a great opportunity.
But if there's a balance, does it roll over?
They have the money, and we had used it for maintenance in the
Okay.
past.
So you do use that 90,000?
It is
Okay.
used.
Okay.
This particular account has been sitting there, and we want to use it. So we're actually requesting, they're going to be requesting the use to make it a part of the permanent collection, if we can do that, and then the location. So did I explain that well?
Yes.
Does that make
Yes.
sense? Okay.
I have a question too. And I don't know if this is something that you need to answer or if I'm allowed to ask because it's two different budgets. But I'm curious to your budget that was left over, how much is in there and do you plan to use more money in the future to purchase permanent art out of the temporary collections? And how does that work with the city budget?
So from Arts Alpharetta's perspective, well, you asked a couple of questions. How much money is left over? There's going to be right at the total amount that we need. We'll have just a little bit left over. It may be a few $100s that are left over once we finish the completion of this purchase, because there's transportation, there's the deinstall, the reinstall. I think this particular sculpture needs a pad poured where we hope it will go in one of the two locations. So this fund is going right back to where it should, is right back to the city as a resource. So will there be a lot of money left over? Not much. But as far as the goal for Arts Alpharetta, personally, as one member of a board of a nonprofit that works to work with the city, it's not necessarily our goal to keep buying sculptures because that then it accrues responsibility on the city to maintain. But if the city wants to invest in that, we want to do everything we can to help that. And so we continue to do our fundraising processes that will help us continue to support the city in whatever project they have. So, so is there going to be money to buy more in the future? It's not usually part of the plan because our goal is to bring these wonderful pieces in for a short time, enjoy them, send them home, leave with happy artists that want to bring more things here. Because I think it's a lot to ask the city to build up a huge collection of maintenance. So, but we would always help them if they want to do it.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And I'm assuming that's part of the strategic plan, the master plan for art and culture, to determine.
We'll be working those logistics out because we're starting the master plan.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
any questions about accepting it as a permanent piece, budget, anything on that end of?
I don't know if you've already negotiated a contract or not, but just for the record, this is, on his website, he says it's 1 of 100, okay? And I can do this in any color you want or any size, which is why I'm glad you're moving to out of city center, because I'd love to see that exclusive for really original pieces, as we've been doing. But I just wanted to know, in the contract, were you able to mention that? Like, can we only have it in yellow here? Something to make it unique, that's all.
It's a great question for us to ask. We have not issued him a contract or anything yet because
Okay.
we're waiting to see if this is something that the city wants to invest in.
Right.
But it's something for us to certainly take into consideration.
Thank you.
So you all have discussed it amongst your team, and this is what you're asking us, right? You put it on the agenda to run it by us, correct?
Staff is recommending that
Okay.
we bring Liquid Sunshine on as a permanent part of our collection.
Okay.
If you're ready, I wanted to present where we wanted to place the piece.
Okay.
We wanted to actually, and this was kind of an exciting part of it, we wanted to place it have the first permanent sculpture along the Alpha Loop. And the location we were proposing, this is where it's currently located, in Brook Street Park. And we'd like to, I don't know if anybody's had a chance, and I believe Morgan, this is opening this particular, June 1st, this segment of the Alpha Loop. It's off Old Milton Parkway. So when you're driving towards Avalon, towards 400, it'll be on the right. I'm not sure the homes, the name of the subdivision, I'm not sure what that name is right there, but Chelsea Walk. So Chelsea Walk would be on your right, and then the Alpha Loop is there. So you walk down, as you can see here, it's kind of like you walk into it, and then it forks off in either direction. And then Liquid Sunshine would be here in the fork off. We thought that was a bright colored piece. It gave a little pop without taking up a lot of room.
So is this a two-part vote? First part being purchase and second part being location? All right, I make a motion to vote first on the purchase of Liquid Sunshine.
Sheetal Foster, motion to approve the Sunshine Sculpture to be purchased by the Alpharetta Art Center.
Good. Can I second that with the suggestion that you discuss what I just talked about with the artists, that we try to make this somehow exclusive to Alpharetta? Thank you. So I've made an amendment to your motion.
Okay. Okay. I, Sheetal Foster, approve the amendment.
That's perfect. Thank you. I understood it.
Okay.
And then Commissioner Foster, do you, hang on one second. I believe Director Rogers has a question for Ms. Sane. In the motion, is staff okay with the way that it was presented? Do we have any clarifying questions there?
I believe we needed to make a correction with Alpharetta Arts Center to changing that to Arts Alpharetta.
Okay. So currently, there is a motion and a second on the floor about purchasing it, and the way that it was stated was the Alpharetta Art Center. I think Commissioner Foster mentioned that, and there just would need to be a minor amendment that it would be purchased by Arts Alpharetta. Do you mind to consider that and amend your motion?
Yes, I would. This is Commissioner Foster. I'd like to make an amendment to my motion to purchase the Sunshine piece by Arts Alpharetta and to move forward with using the budget to do so.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Smeal, do you accept that amendment to her motion?
And my portion of that is still in there?
If you would, well, that's her new motion, so if you would like to accept that and add anything additional, you certainly may.
We're so glad you're here. Thank you. Yes, I make a motion to accept what Commissioner Foster has suggested, and I would also still like to add the amendment that we discussed with the artist about making it rather exclusive to Alpharetta.
Okay, wonderful. So there's now a motion and a second, Mr. Chairman. If you would like to call for a vote at this time, you may.
I would like to call for a vote.
So
The
that
ayes
item
have
is
it.
approved. And then, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like to move to the next section of the agenda.
We need to.
Would, which is to approve the
Need approval on the location.
My
No,
apologies.
that's okay. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the location
Yeah.
as indicated.
Yes, Commissioner Smeal, I make a motion to approve the location of Liquid Sunshine and the space that the staff has presented to us.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. And now if you guys have discussion amongst yourselves, now it's open for discussion now.
Well, I think one of the nice things is putting it on the other side of 400, right? Yes, and we've been wanting to move some pieces over there too, so I do like that thought.
It's on this side, 400,
Okay,
but it's on a new section of the Alpha Loop that's
Perfect.
across Old Milton that hasn't even been opened yet.
thank you.
And that raises the question that I would have had, how do you select those spots? And is there a plan to put anything on the other side of 400?
That comes with the Culture Arts Master Plan.
Are there any additional questions from commissioners at this time? No? So now that we have a motion and a second, it would be time to now call for a vote.
I'd like to call for a vote for the location of Yellow Sunshine at the Old Milton Parkway Extension. The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now it's time for our staff presentations.
Are we ready for the budget overview and initiatives? Is that where we're at right now? Is that- okay. So I wanted to just kind of share what's been requested in the upcoming FY 2025 budget, just to get you familiar with it, see what questions you might have, and I'm just going to walk through. I usually have visuals. I do not have visuals at this section, so I'll just kind of walk through the actual budget initiatives in the operating initiative request. We have the Spotlight Community Theater at North Point Mall. And I did our staff member, Daniel Dominique, you can come up. I'll have him talk about it a little bit. On phase 2, I wanted to kind of explain the project, come on up. Get you up to date. We have 3 phases with this project. Phase 1, we have accomplished, and that was purchasing equipment for the theater. We wanted a theater to be somewhere. We didn't know where it was going to be. So we have all of the chairs, this stage, we have lighting, we have all of the equipment for a community stage. Phase 3 was actually getting the agreement approved with North Point Mall, which we accomplished last Monday night. So Mayor and Council signed off on the agreement. It's been sent to North Point Mall for final signatures. And then Daniel will begin, and I'll kind of let him explain it. I'll pause for a second, but he's going to explain phase 2, and that's when we go into North Point Mall and we start working on the actual physical space to make it feel like a community stage in a theater. And then phase 3, which is coming up, and that's in the operating initiative, that is actually running the theater. It's part-time staff, it's paying the bills there that we have. North Point Mall is letting us use the space for free. We do not have to rent, but we still have things like electricity and things we have to pay. But the operating initiative supports just the daily running of the community stage. So I wanted you to share a little bit. He has put in a lot of work in his background. Share a little bit of your background just for a second.
Sure.
And then share that.
Sure. So my background, I have a degree in theater performance and a minor in French. I come from the performing arts. I played music. I was in the marching band in college, in high school. I was drum major in high school. I was doing theater, and then after college, I became a theater director for my alma mater high school. Then I moved to South Florida, was a theater director there, worked my way up to associate director of arts for a pre-K through 12 school, private school in South Florida before moving into the government. I worked for Sunrise Florida government and ran a theater, art gallery, amphitheater and at that city. And then we moved here in 2021, and now I'm here. So I was brought on last April. I just made 1 year with the city, and I've been working on this project since my first day. So I've already, like she said, acquired a lot of the versatile equipment that can be moved to any location. Small stage, sound equipment, lighting equipment, curtains, portable walls so we can section off the lobby from the house area, things like that. Communication devices for backstage crew, all of that's already been purchased and ready to go. So now that we finally have the MOU approved, we can physically start being in the space and transforming the space. This Thursday, we're meeting with the construction crews that are going to be bidding for the job, and the electrical crews that are going to be bidding for the job to transform the space. Their bids are due May 3rd, and then once we have those bids and we can get POs rolling, then we can actually get in the space and start transforming it. And our goal is by the end of the summer, it's transformed and we're ready to really start booking the space, hopefully this fall. So yeah, we're excited.
Could you, I'm sorry, thank you. Could you just explain to me a little bit about how the revenue, you come up with the 15,000? I think it's wonderfully conservative, but it's still, I'm curious.
That's just the first year or two. That's a conservative side for the first year or two because we see it growing from there. And that, when we're looking at the fiscal year and we're not starting until fall or maybe even winter, then we're already halfway through the fiscal. So it's just building from there.
But again, I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough. Like, how, are you talking like having 10 events and you're charging $10 a person and hoping to sell out? Or how did you come up with that? That's what I wanted to know.
We tried to do an estimation in our comp with that. When we started renting the art center, the first year we made $8,000, and we had a full year. So we thought the need for the community stage, we just kind of broke it down into, I think, was it like, we thought we would have April through fall. It would be quiet, you know, during the winter months, kind of that, during that segment. So we averaged it out about 10 months.
Yeah. And a lot of that is rentals and not just, we might not be running the performances, it's renting the space to theater groups, partnering with theater groups, and all of that's still coming about on the logistics on that, but a lot of it's going to be rental and them using the space and giving us a fee to rent the space.
Does that include like the Alpharetta Symphony Orchestra? Because I know that they want a space like that. So would they rent too? Would that be?
No, Our partners, we would require that they pay for staff. Anything that puts a cost on our budget there would require that they pay for that, but they do not have to pay a rental fee. It's the same format we have set up at the Art Center.
So can I ask then about the paying partners that you would be looking for? So maybe we can support an outreach?
And what's your question with that? If they would be,
Who are your target partners that would be paying and renting?
it can be anything from, we could do a comedy show. It could be a theater that's looking for a venue. It could be just someone renting it for like a business conference, and they just want to come in and have a show. So we'll have an application, and I think you filled out one for the Art Center, so it's very similar to that, just a few different logistics. Sure.
Yeah. Third-party applications, yeah. Diwali, yeah.
Will you be
already
selling
part-
concessions?
We will have a spot that we can set up a table for concessions, but it'll be portable. So if a group didn't want to offer that, it wouldn't just be an empty concession stand sort of thing. But if we're starting to see more and more doing it, then we'll look into trying to put it something a little bit more permanent. But right now, it's going to be a flexible space in the lobby.
And are you able to sell beer and wine?
We are in that location if they fill out the proper application for that. But that section of the mall is licensed to do so.
And it would be just the same as at the Art Center or special event. The applicant is required to get all the appropriate permits and everything. So it's completely on them. Staff doesn't have anything to do with that.
But I know at the mall there's certain restrictions based on where you are in the mall. But they said it is okay to have it as long as we go through the proper protocols that we do with our applications.
Are there hours of use as well?
Yes, in terms of the mall?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we have to be out by, I have to double check the MOU. It was either midnight or 1 a.m.
Oh, it's late. Okay.
It's after the mall closes, and we have to give them about a month ahead of time on when we're going to be in there late, so their security staff is aware.
Most of the events or performances that would be there would be ending early, so it would mostly be in the cleanup mode for staff.
Are we planning on advertising for this space so that we can get more shows?
Yes, we've already talked about, even before the space is open, put coming soon in some of our advertisements, just to make sure we're pushing.
Right, okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Now I'll go to the segment where we have capital request. And I'll kind of go a little slower in here. What we've done is we've set up requests for several different public art accounts. And what we've been learning, and we'll kind of establish some things in the Culture Arts Master Plan. Some of the details are going to be worked out. But right now, what we're trying to do is set up some funding where we can maybe match with grants, maybe the Alpharetta Foundation, maybe if we do something over the Equestrian Center, their foundation, just some money that we can establish, that we can do some matching and kind of get some things rolling. So that's the purpose of these accounts. Public art in parks, it's just what it is. It's public art in parks. This is mainly like if we do crosswalks or if we, like at Wills Park, how they're to have the bond project there. Morgan's been speaking about having a sculpture, like I don't know if you're familiar with the spine where the baseball fields are. It's where the ribbon arch is right now. Eventually that's going to leave, and we'll want a new piece there. So maybe that fund will go towards that piece. Public art.
I have a question about the parks. I remember a while ago, we were discussing parks that were going to be opened in strategic areas, and I was wondering what happened with that project.
Parks that were going to be open. in
Yeah,
strategic
so
areas.
we had talked, maybe I misunderstood, but that we were going to try to open parks in strategic areas so every child in Alpharetta could walk to a park, something along that line?
Yes, we're making great strides in that. We're actually going to be opening 2 parks in May.
Okay.
One of them is Mid-Broadwell, right there before you get to the fire station on the
That's the one I'm
right.
waiting for.
Yeah. If you've been by there today, you know that the playground is coming, we have planted the playground. And
I'll
it is
look at it on
coming
the
out
way
of
home,
we actually think that playground is going to be done by the 1st of next week because we're going to, having the ribbon cutting next week, Wednesday of next week.
Okay.
And then Waters Road is coming up like a week after that. So, and which is on the east side of 400 at the corner of Kimball Bridge and Waters. So both of those will be opening within a couple of weeks of each other. So
nice.
those are 2 of the big ones that we toward that end.
Yeah.
Both of those are what we call community parks. They'll have playgrounds in both of them, restrooms, small trails and areas that you can sit and limited parking. Because the idea is we want people in the neighborhood coming to those, not across town.
Right.
So
will you be sending out an opening event type thing for this park?
Yes.
I could have.
yeah. Tomorrow, I'll send to the commission a full list of all of the openings that we have coming up in the next couple of weeks. That would include the Alpha Loop. That would include the dog park at Webb Ridge that we're opening in a couple of 3 weeks. So I'll send you a list of all of the openings that we got coming so you can come to the ones that you want to come to.
That's great. I have a new puppy, too.
Yep.
Everything's working out for me.
That's great. Moving on to the next capital request, we have requested public art for city projects. So this is really something that, like, when community development, they're trying to, like when you're entering, say, on Alpharetta Highway, and you're coming north, and you're going right by the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and you want like an entry piece or something like that. This is those Alpha Loop projects. These are more city-initiated projects. The next capital account that we've requested is public art by developers on city property. And the best example of this is Off Leash. When that property, they proposed the dog sculpture, that was on city property.
Yes.
So there's some areas where we kind of merge with developers, and so I wanted to address that and have some funds set up so we could either support or we'd have some kind of, room to kind of help with us with those art situations. So if I'm going too fast, pause, because I know it's a little confusing. I have to kind of look at each one of these myself, and I have to kind of read through them until I get used to them. I tried to name them simple, make them simple. The next initiative, which will be in every year, but we need to put in their capital initiative, is Alpharetta Public Arts Initiative. That's the outdoor on loan sculptures. And that's $55,000. Don't be confused. I know we said $90,000, but they put an additional $10,000 every year for maintenance. That does not go to Arts Alpharetta. Arts Alpharetta, we did not account for maintenance in the past, and we were running into some funding issues on that, so we've accounted for that here. The Alpharetta Arts Center ceramics program expansion. We have a very vibrant ceramics program. They hang out together, they love the space in there, and they want more space, more room. We met with a gentleman that has worked in other ceramic programs in other cities around. He has created a plan for us on how to expand the ceramics program. We met with our ceramics students and our lead instructor, and this is what we are proposing that we want to do. We will be, I don't know, are you familiar with our ceramics room with that? I know you are, I don't know. When you walk in, they need a glazing room. Back where the kilns are, that would turn into a glazing room. The kilns would be moved out into the patio with coverage, and then we would be upgrading some items. So just in giving more shelving space, they run out of shelving space for all their pieces because some pieces are very large, and you can't go up to the top for large pieces. So, but that's what we have itemized here, and everybody's hopeful and very excited about that. So.
Kim, question. Well, it's so popular, it seems like it could actually be, generate quite a bit of revenue, right? Does it? Is it almost flush? Do you anticipate more revenue by expanding? I think it's a great idea, but.
They actually fundraise, the ceramics group, and they actually have an account with the city that they're buying their own pug mill with. So, any questions on that? Okay. And that's it. And time for the staff report. You good?
I do have one question. Is
Okay.
this in addition to the budget for this fiscal year that you're asking for next year?
Right. The ceramics and all the public art accounts are capital initiatives. So those are carried, they're accounts outside of the operating budget. So the ceramics is just a project, basically, that we're asking one-time funding for to spend, to expand the program.
And knowing that art funding is never high on the priority list, are you prepared to rank them? Like, what's the priority?
I am prepared. I'm really just trying to make the categories, make people aware of the categories. Council, bring that to your attention. This is what we've been experiencing for the past several years. When the Outdoor on Loan project started, a lot of people referenced that exhibit as, oh, this is how we're getting all of our sculptures on the Alpha Loop. But that is a replacement program. It's not a growth program. So what I tried to do is just isolate that program. We make it 5, we make it 8 sculptures. Sculptures leave, sculptures get replaced. So now I'm trying to make, hey, we have a different sculpture program. We're just naming the projects is all it comes down to. Instead of just calling it art, we're calling it ceramics. We've got art on city property. We've got art with developers. So we're trying to really make that clear so we can have good conversations.
Do you anticipate pushback from city council on any of those?
Possibly. I really don't know. I'm not in those conversations, but I am prepared if we need to discuss, what can we give up? I'd be discussing that with Morgan. Yeah.
Any particular one that needs a little bit more?
You're asking which one needs
Public
a little bit more
support?
attention?
Yeah.
I would say right now, we've really been focusing, because of the bond project, we've really been focusing on art in our parks. Do you want to speak here? You came up.
No, well, I think that question might be better fielded by me than you.
Okay,
So at this point in time, we don't anticipate there being any pushback with the budget. Of course, this is still the staff's budget. So very shortly, staff, Mr. Lagerman, will present the budget to the mayor, and then it'll become the mayor's budget, and he can tweak what he wants to. But this has been very well vetted by the staff, and we feel good about the process that we've got through this. There are a lot of priorities in the city, and you have to shift through those parties. But we've worked hard. Kim and her staff have worked hard to bring these forward, so we feel pretty confident about them. They're not, the thing about it is when, as you're trimming budgets, you don't really look for the smaller budgets. You look at the bigger budgets if you want to start making a difference in budgets. And so these are while they're not astronomical numbers. So we think that this is going to be, these capital requests are going to be good, solid foundation for that. And I would want to, I think arts are a priority for the city of Alpharetta, because I know you said sometimes they're not a priority, but I really want to remind the commission, if you go back 7 years, Alpharetta had 1 staff member committed to the arts, and they were at the basement of the Crabapple Government Center, and that was the extent of our arts program. Now we have 4 full-time people working in cultural and arts right now, and a lot of good part-time people that are supporting that. We got the Arts Center, we got music, we got a cultural arts master plan. So I think arts are a priority for the city, but we need to make sure that we continue to voice our opinion about how important arts and culture is to the integrity of the city. So certainly want to do that, but I don't want to diminish what Alpharetta has done, because Alpharetta has come light years in a very short amount of time to be where we're at. And I think right now we are one of the major players in the cultural scene on the north side. So we're excited for that. Kim and her group have really done a good job getting us here.
Thank
So
you for
I do, oh, sorry.
Thank you for correcting my statement on that. I have to share with you that about 10,
Corrected you. I just wanted to remind you.
10 years ago, I had a friend visit, and she was just here last weekend, and she said, this is not the same place I remember. So yeah, thank you to all of you for the work you've done and the priorities, absolutely. And I wanted to state in there too that the additional $10,000 for maintenance, fabulously allocated. So I think that'll ease the pain about sculptures in question a little bit more in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to, for the record, voice my opinion and state that the extension of the ceramic slab is an excellent idea. Excellent idea. Because, I mean, I know because I'm there and I know that there's a lot of interest. So.
I actually have a question for Morgan, probably. Could you tell me the timeline of how this budget's rolling out? You mentioned where it went next, but specifically the steps and when those steps happen.
So the budget we're talking about covers the fiscal year July 1, 2024 till June 30th, 2025. So currently staff is still working on that budget to present to the mayor. That's supposed to happen in the next couple of weeks. And then in the month of May, I know mayor and council will have some public meetings about the budget with the approval. And I don't know, maybe Lauren could help me a little bit with the dates because I don't know what those dates are. But really in the month of the last half of April and May, those budgets will be talked about by the council in a public forum and be approved sometime the end of May.
Okay.
We have, I think the first reading is probably going to be May 20th meeting. When you're approving the city budget, it has to go through 3 public readings. One of them has to be in the middle of the day, and it's usually on, we do 2 in one day. So I would hope that the budget would be probably passed in June.
Okay. Well, thank you, because I would like to encourage us all to be there when the public readings are happening.
Yeah,
so
so
we can
just-
support this. That's what, if you can just
I would
make sure we
encourage
know.
you to stay in tune with the council agendas for May, June, and maybe early July.
Yep.
I wanted to, may I add one thing to the public art, the capital accounts I wanted to kind of share, I just thought about was the art on loan. It's almost like a savings plan every year because we know $10,000 will not support a sculpture. So it was intended to build and then get matches. So I don't think I said that originally. So, okay. May I move to the report? Are you ready? Okay. And this will support, we have a, what Morgan was saying about arts, and we've had a really, it's almost like I had mentioned it to him, it's like a season finale, and now we're just starting the new season. It's really, we've had a lot of things come, they're completed. I'm really excited to share some of this with you. I'll go to the visuals because that's my favorite part on here. At the Art Center, can you see this okay? Okay. I don't know what you're seeing. Mine's kind of cut off here a little bit. At the Art Center, we had a Girl Scout troop come out, and they wanted to plant flowers in our art garden in the back. So they came out, and they worked as a troop. They planned it, and they worked with Zeal and Megan out there. They had a blast. So I just really wanted to share that community project with you. If you don't get back there, it is always changing. They go out in the go-go, the art in the go-go, the little vehicle. They do art projects back there. They did the weaving project, and they would bring it back and they put it on display. And then there was 2 young kids that came back, couldn't finish their weaving projects in time, and came back to the Art Center to put it on display. So it's just really a nice community project that anybody can join in on. Something I don't know if you're aware of, but I thought it was important to know that I don't know if I've ever spoke to you about the North Fulton Special Needs. North Fulton, all the cities joined together, and we actually publicize a guidebook for our special needs community, and we just had an expo. And if you're not aware of that, please share that. They have a Facebook page. We had a wonderful event out, and this is really supplements and is very special to a lot of the families that, that can't get their kids out like that. Like, I don't know if you remember, but we have the Art Pal program at the Art Center. We tried a lot to do classes, and we couldn't fill them, and then we realized it's hard for the families to get the kids out. So now we just pair up someone with an Art Pal, and we work with Lionheart, and they have been teaching their staff, and we'll call and we say, hey, we need an Art Pal. They pair up with, in a normal, and like in a regular class, whatever, a ceramics class that we're teaching, a wheel class, and they sit with them the entire class. So that's how we've kind of adapted and worked with that. The public performance permit. Good news, I don't think I told you, you know how we change things, we updated. Within a month, it's like we got all of these permits, 5. Just a boop of them. They just kind of, and it was wonderful. We actually have we have a duo, we have a poet that's coming, I believe that we're speaking, I think Michael is speaking tomorrow morning to Appen, so I wanted to share that. The visitor, I don't know if you've been able to step back here and see, but we had the unveiling, and it was a blast. It was a beautiful day. It was had probably about 30 people out there. The artist spoke. We had music, and I just think he's super welcoming. We came later that day, and 3 kids were around the visitor, just holding hands, like hugging him. So it was I just think it's very welcoming and perfect sculpture back there. We did add a QR code to the piece, and it takes you to the story map of Alpharetta Public Art. And if you're not aware that we have this, we have a GIS, and Daniel actually, he's very good at this. He actually maintains, we put artist stories. You're welcome. Yeah. You tell about.
Yeah, we, so each site has a picture, description, artist name. They all get credit for it. And as you go through it, it actually highlights it on the GIS map on where you are and where that piece is. So I've actually sent it out to vendors for maintenance and things like that. And they say, what is the address of the piece? And I'm like, well, there's no address. Just look at the story map. And they go like, oh man, this is great. Because all they do is hover over the image, and it takes them right to that spot, and you can see exactly where it is on the map. So it's great. And if I would encourage you to go on there, because the mural project for the Greenway is on there, and all of the students' names are there, and each picture is represented for all 9 of those murals that were out there.
And tell them on the back end what we do on the back end of that too.
Yes, on the back end, we're also keeping for internally a list of all of the pieces that we have or maintain, even the ones that are not on this that might be private owner from a developer or things like that. We're still keeping a log of everything we have in there, and we even have the old text of what it used to say, if it changed, and like all of the old images. So it's like archival as well on the back end for our personal records.
That's fabulous. Thank you. How about the Play It Again pianos? Are they part of that too?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So all of our maintenance plans are on there. So if we're 15 years out and we need to know the materials, the paint colors, the artist, their contact information on the back end, it's all there, and we can reach out. All right. Sorry here. Got to get back in my place. I had already mentioned that we actually, on the outdoor on loan contract, that agreement was signed by mayor and council and passed, and we are thrilled, and Arts Alpha will be signing it, and we'll be launching that. We got the MOU signed with North Point Mall. We're starting that project. Alpharetta Music City, I just wanted to let you know that we have some new members. The Ginger Room is having a violinist. That was wonderful. We're starting to get some new folks out there participating, and we had about 34 music matches to date. The Culture Arts Master Plan, that agreement is signed, and we're having our first meeting next week. And just our launch, just our internal kind of look at schedule, kind of map that out, and I'll keep you posted on that. But we've had a lot of projects initiate right now. So,
Who signs the plan? Who's the final sign-off on the plans, the master plan?
it'll be reviewed by everybody throughout the entire process.
Okay.
We'll get public input, we'll present it to you. We'll have our
Oh,
director.
okay, so you don't have a team or review committee or anything like that?
We go through our normal process,
Okay.
approval process. At the Alpharetta Art Center, we have an open call for artists for our art garden. So they'll be creating birds in the back. So this is what we started doing in the community. We have moms and we have dads and we have families that call and they go, "Where's the go-go going? Where can we make our piece of art?" And then they bring their kids and show them in the back of the art center at the art garden. We have a workshop, a writer's workshop. And then this shows a few pictures from the Weave project that Zill, she just did an amazing job. They created dolls out of weaving, and it's beautiful back there. Events. As we mentioned earlier, the first year we made about $8,000 in revenue, but we are really kicking off events at the Art Center. We had Cambridge High School Band is playing on the front terrace. These are upcoming events, or they just played, excuse me. This past weekend, we had our first wedding reception. We have Caldwell Banker. We had that today. We had Pure Bar. Will be out there. They'll be working out, and you can bring your kids. And we have an art activity while they're working out for the kids. We have a prom coming up. It's for a small private school, perfect size venue for them. They are thrilled. And we have a mirrored ball, disco ball. So we bought that, and they were so excited about that. And it's amazing in the black box if you haven't seen it. Paint the Town is coming up, and on May 7th through 11th, did you want to promote or say anything about that, Nancy?
We're still expecting a great number of artists, and we're excited to host again. So stay tuned. You'll see them all over the city.
The Alpharetta and Old Mountain County Historical Society is having a Cabernet. And what they're going to do, they kind of play a little music. Their last one, they told the whole history of Happy Birthday. And they were doing Happy Birthday, and they made it very interesting. So if you want to come to that, that is one of their programs, and it's free to the public. We have the Metropolitan Ballet as part of their program. When we give them program money each year, they do a free performance, and that's coming up on May 18th. And then we have the Juneteenth event with Phi Phi Omega. So kind of busy. That's a busy time frame. Some new monthly initiatives that we have coming up. I don't have a lot of details about it right now, but at Mid-Broadwell Park, we met with some children that live in the neighborhood behind there, and we got their input for what they would like to see at the park in art. They know there's a playset coming, there's other elements there, but what would they like to see be interactive? So the building on the left here is the restroom, and this is a proposal from an artist it's Renelda here, she's on the left, and she has proposed to paint a mural, and the girls wanted an interactive mural. So a swing is what they requested. They wanted to sit on the swing so you could get their picture taken. And then, so we're working through this right now and working with two other artists here that are looking at some interactive elements on the sidewalk. So we don't have that ready to show yet, but I just wanted you to know that it's forthcoming and we'll be working.
I think Ronaldo is the perfect person for this.
Yeah, should be great. Galleries. We have 3 new gallery shows. Please come out. We've got our studio gallery show that it's celebrating 50 women over 50 photos. And so he's had a lot of people coming through. And this is she's putting on her other hat. This is our gallery coordinator.
So the studio gallery is a space in the art center that artists are allowed to lease for a short period of time to exhibit their own work. And so this photographer, former banker, our mortgage officer, was really excited to kind of unveil a 2-year project. And he had invited women from, I don't know where his outreach was, but he put out a call and got these 50 women to contribute, to model and pose for him and tell their life stories from age 50 to 94. And those folks came by to visit, to see their portraits on the wall. They're beautifully done. This is artistic portraiture at its finest. and photography. So I hope you'll have a chance to come by and see it. But it was very sweet to see the artists interacting with the models and how honored they were to be a part of this and to hear their stories and see how much of their personality was captured in a photograph. So it's better than a cell phone picture. They're really awesome. It's very sweet to be a part of that. Thank you. We, staff, we've been reaching out to the Fulton County Library and trying to do something in the literary arts. And we've worked and worked on it, and finally this has come through this year. It's exciting. I can't tell what you're seeing on the screen. I'm sorry I'm moving it back and forth, but it doesn't show the full slide on mine. Alpharetta Storytelling Festival this weekend. It's Friends of the Alpharetta Library, and those are the part, we gave them program money. They have, when you first walk into the library, the Friends have a book area on the right. It's a small little area there, and they do their book sales once a month. They have partnered with the library, and they have a full program, storytelling program. They plan to be out at the farmer's market promoting it this Saturday. And you can look at their website if you want to participate. Everything is free, and there's things for adults and children. And Paint the Town, we've already mentioned that, and this is a tentative schedule of events. Alpharetta Symphony will be performing at Brook Street Park on May 27th for Memorial Day at 7:30. Amazing concert. It's usually full, a lot of people on the lawn here. And the Alpharetta Community Chorus will be performing May 5th. There is a suggested donation, and it'll be at Alpharetta Presbyterian Church. Any questions or? All right.
A good,
4
just wanna
minutes.
share one thing.
It's early.
I was actually going to ask Morgan about interactive art in the park, and you just shared that. It's amazing.
Okay.
Thank you for everything.
I would like to invite the commission, the Cultural Arts Commission, to this summer to pledge to attend one of the concerts at Union Hill Park. You know, we were doing Home by Dark concerts there, along with a lot of events. We've hosted Shamrockin' for a Cure there. We hosted the Atlanta Magazine Grill Fest this past weekend at Union Hill. We have a Caribbean festival come up in June. But I would really like for y'all to come and see what Union Hill is like during a concert. Home by Dark. It's a ticketed event, but you would be the guest of Home by Dark. So if you just let me know, there's 2 concerts every month, starting in May, June, July, August, and September. So you can't say you can't find one of those dates you can't go. But we would love for you to come out and experience Union Hill and kind of see what the possibilities are, because it is the sound is incredible at Union Hill, and I would really like for y'all to come and experience that so that you can help spread the word about what a great event facility it is at Union Hill. So check it out, Home by Dark at Union Hill. Just let me know if you'll send me an email what concert you want to go. I'll take it from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that invitation, Morgan. I have one question about the summer program. Kim and Morgan, so summer camps, and can you give us a quick update on signups, registration? Are you filling up like expected?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, from the get-go.
I need to share, we need more spaces. I have friends calling me all the time, and I don't know what to say.
They fill very quickly. The day camps, yes, our programs are full. There might be a couple spots, but they were full within like 3 weeks, probably. Okay.
Are there any other reports from commissioners this evening? I did have one thing that Gene Andrews emailed earlier today, that he wanted to remind everyone about an event that he has upcoming, which I believe Ms. Sabine, Commissioner Janae, is going to be at as well. did you want to share any details about that at the Metropolitan Club?
Sure, I'll give you the 40,000 feet overview. He is inviting people to celebrate Mother's Day and significant women in the community, in the cultural community. So there's, I think, 8 or 9 selected individuals that he will present on their work in the community. But it's at the Metropolitan Club, Saturday, May 11th, I want to say noon to 2, maybe. But I can send out the link.
Do we have any other reports? No. And then Commissioner Barsky, Chairman, would you like to call for public comments at this time?
I'd like to give comment.
Looks like we do have one speaker this evening.
Okay, this time I'm speaking as a resident of Alpharetta since 1991. Wow, what a lot that the city has done for the arts. I just want to say thank you to you all for being here, for the staff for doing what they do. I mean, what has changed in 30-plus years is pretty phenomenal. And we talked about 2 performance venues that weren't there before. And as a community member, it's a great opportunity for us. Now putting on the Arts Alpharetta head as a nonprofit who heard a lot from organizations who wanted performance venues. This is a great thing that we can offer 2 spaces. And then as a staff member, I'm really proud to be here. So that's my public comment. Thank you for what you do.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I second that.
And it is approved. We're adjourned.